Welcome to the Your True Purpose podcast with David Marshall, helping you to create the life you were born to live.
Hi, and a really warm welcome to this podcast. David Marshall here. It's a beautiful day in the UK. The sun is shining. I've been out for a walk with my partner, Claire, and now we're here talking to you, fellow explorers, lovely people, about emotions and about things like shame and guilt, and why you really need to get hold of these things. You really need to begin to uncover these things, release them in your life, because they are affecting your life in a number of ways. So let's get into this. So remember, this podcast is not about the assumption that, that we create our own reality. It's about the fact that we do. It's the fact that quantum physics is beginning to agree that our thoughts and emotions and feelings actually affect our environment. So we're not kind of guessing. We're saying that this is actually what's happening in our life. And so let's have a proper conversation about it. So let's have a think about shame and guilt. Now, all these things are very strong emotions. And if you are in any way, shape or form exploring things like the law of attraction or affirmations or whatever it is, and you're finding that your life isn't really shifting. There's certain things will happen and this is a great idea, but you're not really getting the results that you want. Then the likelihood is, I would suggest, is that you've got some hidden limiting feelings and emotions and beliefs that you need to begin to uncover. Now, why do we want to do this? Well, imagine that you had a lot of shame about something. And often we have shame about things that we have no need to feel shameful of. But so imagine you've got a lot of shame, you're walking around with this shame, and what you're really doing every time you try and create what you want, you're not really allowing it to happen because you feel shameful or guilty about something in the past. Maybe you don't think you deserve it for some reason. Whatever it would be, it's very difficult, impossible actually, to try and create things that are positive when you're feeling really bad about yourself. And so that's the first thing. Remember, your reality is a reflection of your emotions, desires, and expectations. So even though you might want abundance in your life, you want maybe more income or better relationship, while you're holding on to shame, while you're holding on to guilt, when you're holding on to kind of the idea of victimhood, it's never going to happen. And that's why it's important to discuss this. So first of all, because you create your experience, you really need to uncover these things. Secondly, you can never really explore your true purpose, the you of you, if you've encased yourself in limiting emotions. Okay, it's a bit like building a wall around you and your kind of psychic and spiritual senses. You just can't get to it because you're limiting yourself. And the third thing is that I really want you to have a safe environment in which to explore. And it's difficult to feel safe when you feel shame or guilt or any of these kind of strong emotions. It's also really difficult to feel safe when you believe the world, reality, is not safe for you. And a lot of these hidden emotions, then that's what they kind of bring up. So my advice to you today is to take a piece of paper and it's to write down everything that you feel bad about in that kind of umbrella. You feel shameful, you feel guilty, you feel as though you don't deserve things, you feel as though it's not your fault or life should not be this way. Whatever it would be, write it all down and get it all out in front of you. And then what I want you to do is have a look at it, see what you think about it. But also I want you to welcome literally that term. I want you to welcome all of these emotions up into your conscious mind. I want you to allow yourself to feel them, either one by one or generally just have that intention over a period of a few days to feel all these emotions. And in doing that, you let them go. Your system begins to integrate them more energetically. You release energy blocks. You begin to be able to focus on more joyful things. And your reality simply takes a different turn, a different twist. In those terms, it takes a different probability. It takes a different direction. So that's why it's important for you to do that. It's, we all walk around. We all have ideas about ourselves that maybe aren't too flattering. But I hope in this podcast you realize that that's the problem. The problem is that you are limiting yourself, encasing yourself in ideas that are not true. In fact, shame, guilt, fear, all these types of things, when they're repressed, can become physical problems, emotional and psychological problems, but more important than that, they affect your experience. So if you're focusing on abundance, if you're focusing on joy, it's never going to happen. And there's a lot of very spiritual people out there who are carrying around a lot of guilt, and therefore their reality never, however much they do affirmations or pray or whatever, their reality never changes because they have these really strong ideas that maybe they don't deserve the money, or there's something wrong with money or guilt or whatever it would be. And so I don't know about you, but I think probably it's time for you to let these go now. So I invite you to do that exercise, to write down everything you feel bad about, all the shame and the guilt, and then to consciously welcome the feelings into your awareness. And in doing so, you begin to release them. And as you begin to do that, I promise you, you'll feel better. Reality will respond differently because it can't do anything else but that. And when it does that, your life will improve in so many ways, and life can be so much better. So it's time to let go. It's time to embrace it all, and in doing that, to let it go and for you to get on with your life. That's it. Have a great day.
Thank you for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode. Please click below to download your free copy of David's book, The Dream We Call Earth.